What's up, wolves, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me. If you find resonance with my energy, if you find resonance with what I'm saying, relatability, understanding, or even if you just learn something or connect with me in any way through this video, definitely go ahead and give it a like, comment. I do want to hear from you. I do want to connect with you, and subscribe or even share if it resonates at that type of level for you. So there's a lot happening in my world right now. Inside of me, I feel like I'm definitely experiencing a lot of shifts, a lot of changes. A lot of things are restructuring themselves and deconstructing themselves inside of me as it pertains to my identity and who I am and what I think about myself, and really coming into this recognition of how I feel and what's true for me, what's real for me, and even kind of reflecting on the past and realizing what I've overcome and what I have experienced and what I am no longer experiencing but have, like I said, overcome. And right now I feel like the collective energy is definitely in a time of big change. If you resonate with this, you're going to know exactly what I'm saying, but it feels like there's a big change coming, and there's a big change that has already come. But it's like something is on its way that is going to really reflect to us just how much work we've been doing, just how much work we've done. And I'm getting this energy of like community, like really magnetizing and attracting our soul tribe, our people, our community, our soul family toward us from this shifting energy. Because it's like as we come into more of who we really are, of a truer space of authenticity, we are coming into the reflections of us, the true reflections of who we are at a core heart soul level, soul family, right? But what I wanted to talk about today is Valeria Marquez. Her case has been sitting with me these past couple days, and it's really hitting home for me in a space of experiencing and overcoming betrayal. Now, unfortunately, rest in peace to the angel Valeria. She did not overcome. She did pass away, but her story, it is activating something in me. It is sparking something in me to speak, but also just to really acknowledge my intuition and who I am. Because if you don't know, Valeria Marquez is somebody who was essentially set up by her friends or the people around her. It was her best friend, her coworker, and then maybe an ex or somebody she was set up by. And they set her up and they stalled her out to stay in a position where they could set her up, where they could trap her to pew her. And they ended up doing that. And that whole day, and there's lives up of this where like she was picking up on this weird energy. She was picking up on something not being right. She was picking up on, that somebody was going to pew her. She even mentioned as a joke, like, oh, what are they gonna do? Kill me? Like, what are they gonna, like, she knew, right? Intuitively, she knew, but she didn't trust her intuition. And there's readings, I even watched a mutual's reading on this to back this up. But like, essentially, she low-key knew that her best friend was going to betray her. She low-key knew that things were building to a certain point, but she didn't trust it. So therefore, unfortunately, it ended in her death. Her story is inspiring me, and it's sparking something in me because I've also dealt with betrayal. Specifically, the betrayal that I'm talking about that has been coming up for me is a betrayal that I experienced with my best friend, my ex-best friend. And in this case, there's this person's name that is my ex-best friend's name. And when I saw that connection, I remember when I first saw the connection, and I'm getting emotional here, but I remember when I first saw that connection and I was like, I had to like take a breath, and it felt like I wanted to have a panic attack. Because it felt like such a confirmation of the betrayal that I felt back then, that my ex-best friend and the other people involved tried to make me seem like was something that I was making up, something that wasn't true, something that I was just trying to be malicious about, and in telling the truth and being honest about what I was seeing and what I knew and what I could pick up on. And it's sparking this confirmation of me trusting my intuition and getting away from that friendship, getting away from that friend group, stepping back from that community. Now, if you don't know, I used to live in Tallahassee. This was a couple of years ago. So I think this was like 2021 when all this happened. But in 2021, I started manifesting and my life essentially just crashed. It all fell apart. It all fell apart. I crashed my car because I started hydroplaning on the highway. I'll probably insert a picture here. And then I lived with my best friend. So when she betrayed me, when I realized, oh my God, this is not actually who I thought this person was, I had to move out of our apartment that we shared together. And then we were also no longer friends, and everything was just coming into light about, you know, how she switched up on me and like how she switched sides and how our relationship was an illusion. And, you know, all these sort of things were being reflected back to me about our friendship that I picked up on in the friendship. I would pick up on the subtleties of her resentment or her jealousy or her judgment toward me and how I was changing, because that was like in the beginning of when I was changing. If you followed my journey, if you haven't, I really started changing like in 2020. But so that was really like, I was beginning to take off. I was getting traction. Like people were talking about me. Like I was out there and I was in there. And I could tell that like as I started really changing, like she started to feel insecure or inferior, and she started to feel like this like certain energy toward me. And there would be moments where I would just see her energy flip, but I would just be like, I don't really understand. Like I didn't understand it logically, but intuitively, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, I could feel like there wasn't complete connection in who she was. Like at one moment she was like this, and then another moment she was like this. One moment she was in her light, but another moment she was in her darkness. And even before I really started changing, like I could see that like she was dealing with her own things. And I think that's why I made excuses, right? When we can tell that people are dealing with their own things, we do tend to make excuses. We do tend to say, oh, okay, well, that's just, they're working through it. Oh, okay, well, I'm just going to love them through it. Oh, okay, well, and I did that for so long until things came to light and my life started falling apart, this included, and I had no choice but to acknowledge the truth. And so the name of this person being in the story with Valeria was really a confirmation to me, like, oh my God. That was so weird, guys. My phone just cut off. I'm sorry, but it like just randomly rebooted. Weird. But okay, that was really a confirmation to me that like I did the right thing by walking away. Even though my best friend at the time and the other people involved wanted to make me think that I was being malicious and I wasn't being true to them and I was being weird and I was being, you know, conniving or deceptive in some way, and I was trying to hurt them or break them up or break them apart. That's not what I was trying to do, and I knew that back then, but it's like confirmation now that no, you definitely weren't doing that. You made the right choice by getting away, and that was what was meant to happen. That was my protection. And so the whole time I was picking up on it and not really acknowledging it, that was my protection. That was me getting signs and symbols but ignoring them. And then the end obviously was like my ultimate like savior, because I got to get out. Mind you, before this betrayal happened, me and my ex-best friend were going to re-sign the lease. We were going to re-sign the lease. Like literally we had just started talking about like, you know, re-signing. And I remember when all this shit happened, I kept wanting to like be like, oh, okay, like we'll just work through it, like we're best friends. I kept really feeling at moments that like we would get through it and that it would be okay. But there was a point when I went to go re-sign the lease and I just could not re-sign the lease, and it was an electronic release. So there was like, I think there was like maybe 8 bullets, and I got to like the 6th or 7th one, and I just could not finish signing the lease, and I just shut my laptop and I was like, damn, like this. Like I just felt that I could not re-sign the lease. And so I did not re-sign the lease. That's when I ended up having to move out, take a leap of faith. But when I could not re-sign the lease, it's because I I already knew that I could no longer be in that friendship. I could no longer live there, because when somebody breaks your trust in a way that doesn't protect you, in a way that lacks care, consideration, acknowledgement of who you really are, of you in general, when somebody hurts you to a point where you feel like you were left for dead, and you didn't die, but you feel like you were left for dead, that's a sign that you don't stay. Leave. You need to leave. You need to trust your intuition and leave. Because I think back and I'm like, had I stayed there, I can't even see the timeline, but all I know is that I just feel and hear and see chaos. Like it's just chaos. I can't see it, but it's like I just feel chaos. It doesn't feel right. Like all I see is fire. Like I just knew it wasn't going to be okay, because I could not trust that my best friend would have my back, because during the betrayal she didn't have my back. And so essentially what had happened was I talked to her girlfriend at the time, and I told her, like, hey, I appreciate that you're you and that you speak your mind, but I draw the line when you start being mean to people, when you start acting a certain way. I don't support that. And I was giving her the examples, and the first thing she told me was like, no, I didn't say that didn't happen, you're so fake, like, why didn't they say anything? And it's like, I don't know why they didn't say anything, right? I can't tell you, but I was saying something. And so basically I told her that. She gaslit me. She just denied it. Whatever. She left. When she left, she went back to her house, which my ex-best friend and the other person involved were at. When she went there, I knew the next day there was going to be issues. I knew she was going to act like a victim. I knew she was going to try and portray that, like, I'm this bad person and I did this and that and I said this and that, because that's already the narrative that was spinning. That's already what she felt behind closed doors. She already felt like I was a threat to her. So I knew that she was going to play victim. Next day, my ex-best friend comes back home. The energy switched. I don't know, but something was just different. And so fast forward, whatever, me and my best friend have arguments, we have talks. There's a point where I can tell that my best friend's trying to manipulate the situation. She's like asking me so many questions, like just like yelling things at me, and I'm sitting in the kitchen with her at the stool, and she's in the kitchen, and she's just like, so you think that like she's just like questioning me in a way that like would make me start to rethink, like maybe I am wrong, maybe I messed up for saying the truth, maybe I didn't, maybe I don't, maybe like I really started to rethink, like, okay, wait, maybe I'm wrong, maybe, but I wasn't wrong. But she wanted me to feel like I was, think I was, make me believe I was, so that I would stay in connection with her, so that I wouldn't leave her, so that she didn't have to face her own darkness and the reality of the situation that she was in with her partner at the time. So I talked to her partner at the time. Then we had an argument, whatever. Then there was a point where my ex-best friend had told me one night, mind you, I said I could be cordial. Like, I'm not going to be fucking with your girlfriend, but like, I can be cordial. I'm not somebody who has to just be mean to be mean, rah-rah to rah-rah. So I was like, I can be cordial. But I wanted my ex-best friend to tell me, you know, if she's going to have her girlfriend come over, anybody's going to come over, let me know so I'm aware, da-da-da. So one night after I had already talked to her, I could tell she was feeling a type of way, and spirit put me on. God was warning me, like, okay, if you don't go towards her, she's gonna come toward you. Okay, I was seeing her name everywhere. I was thinking about her. I was thinking about the situation. So I knew that she was gonna come toward me if I didn't go toward her. I didn't go toward her because I knew she was gonna bitch me out. I knew it was gonna be this complete thing. It did not have to be. Honestly, I was just avoiding it, right? Respectfully, I was avoiding it. And so she came, my ex-best friend told me, she's like, okay, so are gonna come over tonight. When she told me that, I already knew something was gonna go down. I already knew. So I was like, okay, what time? She told me what time. So they come over, and I get off work. Mind you, I do a confidence meditation because I already know something's about to happen. I already know something's about to pop off because, like I said, I was already being warned. I was aware the entire time. So they come over, they're downstairs. I go downstairs, and I'm like, hi. The girlfriend ignores me, but the other person says hello. Oopsie, I put my cup in the sink. I go to the store. I come back. When I come back, I go to the fridge to get something to drink. They're still in the same position they were. And this, I was going to say this bitch, but her girlfriend at the time steps in front of the fridge and is like, so you just weren't going to say anything about da-da-da? I was like, well, I was what did I say? I was like, I was gonna say her part, but I was like, no, I wasn't gonna. She was like, wow, you just weren't gonna. I was like, I wasn't gonna say that because I didn't like the way you're talking to me. She was like, oh, I was waiting for you. You didn't like the way that I talked to you. You're the one that and she just like started like going at it, right? And it got to a point where like she started, you know, insulting me, telling me I'm pathetic, that I'm a coward, that I'm weird, I'm so weird. She just kept repeating that I'm weird, telling me I have no friends. Everybody on Instagram sees it. At a point it was just me and her, and I was like, you want me to get small for you, and I'm not gonna get small for you. You want me to feel hurt by what you're saying, and that's exactly why I don't want to be around you. So again, I was right about her, and her response and reaction, not only the first time but the second time, confirmed this. So she's going at me and she's like, you need to stop moving your hands. Like I was gonna fight her. I literally wasn't gonna fight her, but I was like, okay girl. So then I like adjusted and we still kept talking. At a point she was like, I'm done with you, I'm gonna enjoy my night. And I was like, and I'll stand here, this is my house. And I think that's the most disrespectful part for me. Like, you're in my house disrespecting me. And I remember I was like, well, if you wanted to talk, we could just. And she was like, I was waiting for you. And I was like, if you wanted to talk. And she was like, yeah. Like she just kept going at it, and she didn't really want to talk. She didn't really want to find a solution. She just wanted to argue with me. She just wanted to insult me. She just wanted to make me feel bad because she's been threatened by me, like I mentioned. Like I was telling them, but nobody was listening to me. So this is happening. My ex-best friend is not doing anything. She's just sitting there watching her like say all these mean ass, bully ass things to me. But I hold my own. But she was just watching, and then I walk away and I'm like, I don't even need a sorry. Like, and my best friend is like, well, maybe she does. Again, kind of sticking up for her. And there was a point where after the fact, my best friend tried to text me and be like, she said sorry. Like almost again trying to manipulate the situation and make me think that I need to say sorry, or I need to give her a chance, or I need to. And then they started talking about my blog at the time that I had, because like I said, I was changing, I was elevating, I was getting traction. And they started saying like, oh, well, if you're about growth, then you would try to be friends with her. You would try to get to know her. Well, if you're my best friend, then and there were points where she would try to like retract that statement. But like she said what she said. And so that was one thing. Then it was her graduation weekend. And mind you, things had mulled over, like whatever. We still lived together, whatever. I still thought it would work. So it was her graduation weekend. And her family comes over, and her girlfriend at the time, mind you, this is after everything. So her girlfriend at the time comes over, and she's like mentioning this girl that I used to talk to. And I'm like, I know she's trying to get under my skin with this, but I'm like, all right, okay, all right. I see you, but like, okay. And she's just like just bad energy, bro. It's just bad energy. And so she's doing that. She's like antagonizing me, basically. You know, she wants me to react so then she can say, oh, see, I told you she's like this. I told you she's like that. When it's like, no, like, I'm not you. I'm me and you're you. Stop trying to be me. I'm gonna be me and you be you. Mind you, this whole situation, everybody just like discounted who I am. Like they just completely ignored who I am. And completely ignored who she was. Like they put her up like she's this saint, when really I'm the one with the traction record that would say I'm genuine, I'm sweet, I'm kind, I'm honest, I have no reason to lie. I'm not somebody who acts in these wild ass, unorthodox ass ways and then makes excuses because they were mad or da da da. Like they knew who I am and they knew who she was. So that happened, and then there was a point where my ex-best friend was showing us her graduation fit, and she went in her room, and so I ended up following at some point, and her girlfriend at the time, her ex-girlfriend, was blocking the door, and she was kind of like standing like this, and I was like outside of that because I was just kind of see like what's going on, like let me see the outfit. And she's like blocking the door basically, so I'm like, excuse me, and then I kind of like walk outside of her arm, and I could feel her like push back so I don't like step into the room. And so there was a little bit of a like there was some sound, there was a little bit of tension, and my ex-best friend had walked up and she was like, sorry. I don't know what she said sorry for, but I feel like she said sorry because she felt the energy. But then hindsight, she's like, oh no, I was. And I'm like, okay. So at this point it's just like, a lot is going on, and like my best friend's lying to herself about her relationship. She been lying to herself about her relationship. It's come to this culmination, as above so below. There was always a tension with all three of us below. It just had to come to the surface, and this is when it came to the surface. So long story short, like, I feel like my ex-best friend wanted to see my downfall, because at no point did she really stand up for me. I remember a conversation that I had with her after the first time when she had confronted me in our kitchen, and I was like, you don't think it was wrong for her to say that I have no friends and that I'm weird or that I'm pathetic and a coward? And she was like, well, I mean, do I think it was right? No, but I mean, like, she was just so nonchalant, and I could just feel like she wanted to see my downfall. She wanted to see what would happen. She wanted to see my true colors. She wanted to see me become someone I'm not, or act in a way that I'm not, or like see my downfall. And another confirmation that I experienced with this and the Valeria case is that when I was watching my mutual do a reading on it, she was mentioning, like, you know, Valeria's best friend wanted to see her downfall, etc., etc., etc. And when she mentioned downfall, I was journaling at the same time. When she mentioned downfall, I just written, like a millisecond later, she said downfall when I just written the word downfall. And that was another confirmation of like, okay, so I was not crazy. People will make you feel crazy. They will make you feel like you don't know what you're talking about. They will make you feel mentally ill. They will make it seem like you don't know, you're not right, you're just this. They'll try to make you forget who you are. And that's why I feel like something's being activated within me, because I'm remembering. And it's just not true. And it's important for us to trust our intuitions and trust our guts when we get these nudges to walk away, when we get these nudges that this person isn't right for me, the energy's not good here. And I couldn't re-sign the lease because I couldn't trust that my best friend would have my back in the case that something happened, because clearly she was just letting her girlfriend do whatever she wanted to do and making excuses for her and saying that, you know, well, I didn't do this, so she can't do that, and like just all this BS just to make excuses and defend her. And so I couldn't resign because I couldn't trust what would happen if I did that. And I'm glad that I didn't resign, because hindsight, I feel like it would have been way worse. And I'm not saying they would have me, right? I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that I don't know what they would have done. I don't know who that they really were for real. You know, I don't know what they really were capable of. So it's just like, if I felt left for dead mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, I can only imagine had I resigned again, had I resigned and then stayed there and had to experience that. So the moral of the story is, trust your gut, trust your intuition, and really follow through. And you're going to be grateful that you followed through, even if that means you have to leap into the unknown, even when you're scared, even when you're in pain, even when you're confused. Just do it, because it can save your life and serve as an inspiration for others. So thank you so much if you made it to the end of this video, and rest in peace to Valeria. Her story was not in vain. Her experience was not in vain, and it's really inspiring and sparking and activating something deep inside of me as far as my power and my intuition and my knowing. And it's something's happening. Things are changing. So just keep flowing with the changes. Until next time, Wolf. Bye.